We encounter ads everywhere on TV, the radio, Instagram, TikTok, magazines, billboards, and public transportation. It's estimated that the average person sees up to 10,000 ads every single day. Why? Consumerism.
They work, they play, they study, and most important of all, they buy.
So today we'll go into consumerism, where it came from, how it gnaws away at your life, and what you can do about it. First, what exactly is consumerism? Consumerism is a way of life that most of us experience every single day. It's basically the habit of buying things. We're constantly being told to buy more and want more, whether we need them or not, and that what you have now is not enough, and that if you bought this thing, it would make you happier, feel more successful, and that your problems in life would all be solved. From the clothes we wear, the phones we use, we are surrounded by things we want or feel that we need. While consumerism has helped people in their everyday lives and helped economies grow, it's also brought a lot of problems and led to overspending and put a strain on the finances of people around the world. If we can cut down on overconsumption, which has been ingrained into our society and culture for the past several decades and is drilled into our subconscious every single day, then we will live a happier and more free life. To understand how consumerism and mass consumption leads to financial instability, we need to go back in time, because the very idea of consumerism as we know it today didn't always exist. And it all started with the Industrial Revolution in the late 1700s and 1800s. But before that, most people lived as farmers and made things that they needed. The Industrial Revolution changed all of that by introducing factories and the mass production of goods. This made everyday items cheaper and more available to the average person, creating more demand for more things. And fast forward to the 1920s, we saw the true beginning of modern consumerism, and when marketing and advertising really took off. Instead of simply selling products, they sold lifestyles. The very idea that buying a certain product could make you happier, more successful, or even more attractive. And by the 1950s, consumerism and American culture became one and the same. And after World War II, people had more money to buy more things. And this is around the time that the idea of the American dream became popular, which equated happiness and success. The idea is that if you worked hard, you could own a home, a car, and fill your house with the latest appliances and refrigerator, all with 2 kids and a dog. And fast forward to today. A culture of convenience and instant gratification has become deeply ingrained in our lives. We expect and want more things, more quickly, and more often. Whether it be the rise of food delivery or streaming services like Netflix and Amazon, where you can have nearly anything delivered to your home by the next day. The convenience of not having to cook a meal or waiting for a TV show has changed our expectations. However, it all comes at a cost, which can be sometimes more than double if you were to, say, cook a meal yourself at home, or subscribing to multiple streaming platforms, which can easily cost hundreds of dollars. But this convenience keeps us trapped forever wanting more. It was found that 45% of people can't afford a $1,000 expense. And sure, there's a lot of factors that go into this, but one of the main reasons is living above your means. It's a lifestyle where we're buying things with money we don't have, and all because it's become so normal in our society. A lot of us buy so that we can feel like we're a part of a particular club, so that we feel successful or it presents us in a certain image, because we want to fit in and feel like we made it, but it's all a facade, at the literal cost of money in our bank accounts and our financial future. We buy things we don't need with money we don't have to impress people we don't even know. Not only is everything more accessible, but companies are spending billions of dollars on marketing and advertising to influence your buying habits. Global marketing is now valued at over $700 billion. With social media and everyone with a digital screen in their hands, it's made it easier for brands to target individuals on their interests, behaviors, and even their location. And modern marketing has become a science. It's no longer about just promoting a product. It's about manipulating emotions, exploiting psychology, and creating desires. By tapping into emotions like fear, happiness, or nostalgia, companies create a sense of urgency or connection to their brand. Many people are driven to spend money not just out of need, but to feel good or fit in, or that they're simply just bored. There are more commercials, more ads, more billboards, all fighting for your attention. A 30-second commercial can reach 116 million Americans, while adults spend on average 3 hours a day watching television and exposed to over 2 million ads annually. Over $17 billion is spent on advertising to target children, with the average child exposed to 40,000 ads per year. And this is only growing with increased exposure to social media for children at increasingly younger ages. And the average American spends $754 a year on impulsive social media purchases. And before we go on, if you're enjoying this video, please leave a like and subscribe. It'll help the channel greatly. Thank you very much for watching. Advertisements and social media create the facade that success comes from owning certain products or living a certain lifestyle. And this pressure leads to impulse spending, where people make purchases without fully thinking through long-term financial impacts and are often influenced by their friends or other influencers. People will constantly need to work to make more money to buy things, and once they buy, they'll need to work even more to buy more or pay off debt. And so many people become trapped in this vicious cycle. And this concept is called the Honic Treadmill, where people keep buying more goods to strive to achieve happiness, only to find that the satisfaction is short-lived, and once people get used to their new handbag, that excitement fades, and you go back to that baseline of happiness and crave that next purchase. And within the last 50 years, the median wage, when adjusted for inflation, has increased by a whopping 18 cents, while the average price of homes have increased by more than 1,600%. Food and cars by over 700%, and higher education by 180%. And as much as the stock market continues to reach all-time highs, and recession is supposedly under control, a lot of people are hurting. The state of the American economy and the life of the actual consumer are two very different things. So if the cost of living is so expensive, how are so many people affording all these things? And the harsh reality is that they're not. In 2023, credit card debt exceeded $1 trillion for the first time, with the average household with $6,000 in credit card debt and the average rate at around 24%. And it's very easy for this debt to snowball, and people get stuck paying high interest without ever making a dent in their actual debt, let alone properly saving for everything else in their lives. And it's estimated that Americans spend almost $18,000 a year or more, and that's over $1 million over the course of their adult lifetime. And that's on takeout or delivery, streaming, subscription boxes, and impulse purchases. And that's a lot of money. That's money that could be used to pay down debt, invest in the stock market, pay off your student loan debt, or even become a down payment on a house. And a lot of this can be attributed to credit cards, easy financing, and buy now pay later options, all which has led to a lot of people to accumulate debt in pursuit of a lifestyle that they can't afford. And to be clear, if you have the budget, then you don't need to worry, and there's nothing wrong with treating yourself to a nice meal. But 58% of people said that they felt that there were more important things that they could afford. I'm not saying to deprive yourself of everything, but just think long and hard about that McDonald's Big Mac, and instead think of the long run where that money can be used more meaningfully. So think about retirement, emergencies, or investing. They might not be as appealing right now when compared to that food being delivered to your door in a few hours, but it's worth it in the long run. Mass consumption creates this pressure that leads people to prioritize short-term desires over long-term financial security, so it's all about focusing on what's important. And the key to escaping this cycle is not to give in to marketing and refusing to give in to consumerism. Ignore the bright billboards, ignore the advertisements you see, and live your life instead of letting mass consumption influence how you live. It's about obtaining actual success and happiness through financial freedom, so you can afford a $1,000 emergency, can pay off your loans, not live paycheck to paycheck, and retire early. So do practice mindful spending. A lot of overspenders are completely unaware of their spending habits. And if you are going to be shopping on your apps all day, consider budgeting apps to help you keep track of your finances to help with overspending. A good rule of thumb is the 50-30-20 rule, where 50% of your after-tax income is spent on your needs and obligations. So your rent, your food, and your utilities. 20% is dedicated to your savings and investments. And that remaining 30% is for your wants. So include that Amazon purchase or late night DoorDash delivery here. The idea is that this rule is malleable, it's flexible. If you spend less on your needs, you're able to allocate more to your savings or even splurge on that handbag. And if you're ever finding yourself with that itch or wanting that new air wrap that curls your hair, practice mindful spending instead of impulsive spending before making purchases. A good practice is waiting 24 hours before buying anything. Go outside, touch some grass, get a good night's sleep, and ask yourself again if you really need this. What value does this fancy mixing bowl bring to your life? Another thing I found helpful is adopting minimalism. It doesn't mean to deprive yourself of everything in the world, but it's to live with what you really and only truly need or love. And this helps you appreciate what you have and reduces the want for new things. The main idea is to focus on experiences instead of things, like traveling, hobbies, or learning new skills, instead of material possessions which provide fleeting happiness. Mass consumption and consumerism has shaped our lives. They provide convenience and more than enough things to buy and fill your life with. But all of this creates a pressure to spend, which leads many people into debt and financial instability. By choosing to break away from unnecessary spending, practicing good, sound financial habits, you can experience true happiness and success. Much more so than any product you can buy with your credit card. And this is very much true for the luxury industry itself, that purposely targets lower and middle income people by advertising a facade of success and wealth. So check out this next video on why luxury fashion is for broke people.